Ohio. Podgorica in 1952-1992, Titograd, the main town of Montenegro. The administrative center of the capital community Podgorica, consisting of two city communities. Zeta, the central city Kolubovci, and Tuzi. Population 150.9 thousand. 2011. Our population of the country. It is located on the extensive plain of the Skadarski Hollow, on riverbanks Morachi, in 30 km from the Adriatic Sea. Main political, economic and cultural center of Montenegro. Not of the railroads, International Airport Podgorica. University of Montenegro. The remains of the Turkish fortress destroyed in 1879. In spite of the fact that the downtown considerably was damaged during World War II, in Podgorica Ottoman areas remained Varosh and Drac, and also certain ancient buildings in the area Nova Markova. Varosh is old. Etymology. In the ancient time, the Roman settlement of Berziminium. The Slavic name Rudnica, which subsequently received since the 14th century is known as Podgorica. Being at the foot of a hill, with an old Slavic form in Anica. In the Middle Ages the city was in structure of the Serbian lands. At the end of the 14th century is included in Skadarski, the Ottoman Empire. In 1878 it is returned to Montenegro. In 1945 it became the capital of the Republic of Montenegro. Since 1952 Bras Tito is renamed into Titograd, in honor of the leader of Yugoslavia, Josip. In the course of disintegration of Yugoslavia in 1992 the name Podgorica was restored. History. The pioneer settlement was founded on the place of modern Podgorica in the Stone Age, B.C. There lived Illyrian tribes, and then these lands were won by Romans. They founded the city under the name Berziminium. At distance about 3 km from Podgorica are located ruins of other Roman city, Dioclea. It is considered that the Roman Emperor Diocletian was from these places. Presumably, his name is meant by Diocletes. Later, already at Slavs, Diocles' name turned into Ducal. So all region began to be called. From the moment of the basis the city was the intersection of important tradeways. Zeta, Morak, Rudnica and Sitnica rivers. And was located in the fertile valley with favorable climate, is relative near Lake Skadar and the coast of the Adriatic Sea. In the 5th century came here and Slavic tribes lodged. They founded a state, constantly were at war with Byzantium and built the new city which received the name down the river on which coast it stood, Rudnica. For the first time this name is mentioned at the time of board of the Serbian royal dynasty Nemanjići. Importance of the city was defined by his arrangement on the trade way to the Adriatic Sea and further, to the countries of the West. The name Podgorica is for the first time mentioned in 1326 in judicial documents of Katorsky archive. The city was rich as through it business between Dubrovnik and Serbia, in those days very brisk was done. Ottoman occupation of Podgorica in 1474 stopped development of the city. Turks constructed big fortress here, the main strengthening from which wars with Montenegro clans were waged. The strengthened city with towers, walls and gate allowed Turks to maintain the constant attacks of Montenegrins. In 1864 Podgorica became the administrative center of the Vilayet of Ishkodra under the name Bogortalan. In Turkish this word is meant by bilberry. The city was also known under the Albanian name Bergerac. In 1878 the decision of the Berlin Congress recognized the independence of Montenegro as sovereign principality, and Podgorica became a part of the new country. It was the end of 4 centuries of the Turkish dominion and the beginning of a new era in the history of the city and all Montenegro. The 20th century. Podgorica quickly developed. In 1901 the first Montenegro Bank was founded here. Roads to the nearby cities were constructed, and in 1902 the first considerable commercial enterprise, a tobacco plantation, is founded. During the period between world wars the population reached 13,000 inhabitants. During World War II Podgorica was exposed to firing over 70 times and was razed to the ground. More than 4,100 inhabitants died. On December 19, 1944 the city was freed. On July 13, 1946 under the new name Titograd. In honor of the Marshal Tito, the city became the capital of the Socialist Republic of Montenegro. After that the city completely changed. Modern roads and the airport were constructed. On April 2, 1992 the historical name Podgorica was returned to the city. In Podgorica subtropical climate with hot summer and in moderately cold winter. Snow is an everyday occurrence, but only within several days during the winter period. An annual amount of precipitation -1544, average annual temperature -16.4 C. Annually there are about 135 days with a temperature above 25 C. In July and August stems of thermometers quite often rise above 40 C. On August 16, 2007 record-breaking high temperature -44.8 C was recorded. Podgorica, the largest city of Montenegro. There lives about a quarter of the population of the country. On a census of 2003 169,132 inhabitants lived in the Podgorica municipality. The population actually Podgorica -136,473 inhabitants. According to the last census, nearly 57% of inhabitants of municipality consider themselves Montenegrins, more than 26% Serbians, about 11% Albanians. Economy. The residence of the President, Parliament and the Central Bank of Montenegro on one street. Podgorica, the business capital of Montenegro. Most the industrial, financial and commercial enterprises of the country are here. Before World War I the urban economy specialized in trade and small manufactories. Such economic model remained in inheritance from the Ottoman Empire. After World War II the focus of development was shifted towards a fast urbanization and industrialization. Around the city there were large enterprises, aluminum, tobacco, textile and other industries. Wars of the period of disintegration of Yugoslavia past Montenegro, but left the plants of Podgorica without suppliers and sales markets that caused the full decline of production continuing until the end of the 90th years. Many enterprises were closed, others fell into decay. Business life began to be restored only at the beginning of the new millennium. The survived plants were privatized and by the real moment already adapted to new conditions. The largest enterprise, not only Podgorica, but also the whole country, is the Podgorica aluminum plant, belonging to the Russian company Rusal. The city economy became more focused on the financial sector and the service sector, which quickly grew. In Podgorica, two exchanges, the Montenegro exchange and the Nex exchange, work. Now the focus of development of business in the city is shifted from the heavy industry to telecommunications, construction and the banking sector. The set of representative offices of the foreign companies opened. Increase in prices for the real estate and lands under building, especially in the center, became side effect of rapid growth. Now the city actively extends, areas remote from the center are built up. In 2009, the first large shopping center, Delta City, with the only thing in the city, movie theater where the known European brands of fashionable clothes are presented, opened. In 2010, one more shopping center, Mall of Montenegro, opened. Media. In the city, the central offices of the public TV channel RARC and a number of commercial television stations are located. TVN, NTV Mantena, Elmeg RTV, RTV Atlas and MPB. All Montenegro daily newspapers, Vigesti, Dan and Pobeda, appear in Podgorica. Podgorica is the large transport center of automobile, railway and air traffic. The Sozina Tunnel 4.2 km, which is recently constructed according to modern European standards, considerably reduces the road to Bar. The main European highways passing through Podgorica. The northern direction, ED, to Serbia and further to the countries of Central Europe. The western direction, E, to Bosnia and further to countries of Western Europe. The southern direction, ED, to the coast of the Adriatic Sea. East direction, E, to Albania. Along the highway Podgorica, set-inch, the main platforms in Montenegro selling used cars were located. Within the city on the route Podgorica, Nikšić car showrooms of the main European producers are built. The route Podgorica, Bar abounds with dealers in agricultural products from nearby fields. Watermelons, grapes, a fig. Along the highway Podgorica, Škoda vineyards are broken. Public transport in the city is presented by buses and the taxi. Long distance. Podgorica, the main railway junction of Montenegro. Pass through her. The railway line Belgrade, Bar. The largest by the number of passengers and the tonnage of the transported freights. Branch line Podgorica, Nikšić. Branch line Podgorica, Škoda. The only railroad connecting the neighboring Albania to the rest of the world isn't used recently. In 12 km to the south from Podgorica, the international airport, the largest in Montenegro, is located. one of two in the country. Today the airport is modernized, increased and equipped with modern air systems. From here regular and charter flights fly to many cities of Europe, including to Moscow. Culture. Though in Podgorica not so many cultural institutions as in the historical royal capital of Cetinje, nevertheless there are a lot of theaters, museums and galleries are located. Among them it is possible to mention Montenegro National Theatre, City Theatre, including Children's Theatre and Puppet Theatre, City Museum, 1950, Natural History Museum, Archaeological Research Center, 1961, Marko Miljanov's Museum in Meduna, the ethnographic museum showing life in Montenegro in the 19th century. The Gallery of the Palace Petrović works since 1984 in a palace complex of the King Nikola I Petrović Nebojša, includes also the House of Honorable Guards, a palace chapel and adjacent buildings. Since 1995 the gallery is a part of Contemporary Art Center. Budotomovića Cultural Information Center, the public organization organizing various cultural events, such as Podgorica Cultural Summer, FIAT, the International Alternative Theatre Festival, DUIS, the December Art Scene and others. In Podgorica monuments to A.S. Pushkin and 5. Vysotsky are established. Science and education. In Podgorica the University of Montenegro. His main campus. The only state university in the country is located. Recently in the city some new private higher educational institutions opened. Also there is a Montenegro Academy of Sciences and Arts and the Dukljanski Academy of Sciences competing to it in arts. In the city 34 initial and 10 high schools, including a gymnasium work. National Library Radosava of Ljumović, one of the most considerable in the country. Architecture. In Podgorica it is possible to see fancy mixture of various architectural styles, inheritance of rough history of the city and country. Each board left marks in a stone. In 400 years of Ottoman dominion, 1474-1878. In Podgorica many buildings of the Turkish architecture were built. Oldest towns, I am Old Varosh and Drac, are built up with houses of this kind. Here it is possible to see two mosques, clock tower and narrow twisting streets. When Podgorica was included into Montenegro, the downtown moved to other riverbank of Ribnitz where began to build wide streets, crossed under right angles, and buildings in the European style. During World War II Podgorica was completely destroyed. After release reconstruction of the city in style of the Soviet architecture with prevalence of standard building began. The majority of buildings on the right river bank of Morik is in this way built. Even in the old town some sites were built up with such houses. Approximately from 1990th years in Podgorica rough construction which quickly changes the image of the city began. Many modern houses and offices are built. This city was decorated with the new areas, parks and monuments. Separately it is worth mentioning Resurrection Cathedral and Tisacaletia Bridge. The Podgorica Resurrection Cathedral of the Montenegro and Seaside Metropolitanate of the Serbian Orthodox Church, the biggest Orthodox church in Montenegro. Sites. Despite catastrophic destructions during World War II, in Podgorica and the next vicinities many sites remained. Also in the city in the last decades modern objects which became recognizable and popular tourist objects and symbols of New Podgorica were built. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.